Welcome back to episode 4 of season 2 of the Roll the Tape Sports Podcast. I'm Jacksen White alongside.
Aidan McNally.
And Jalen McKissick.
And yes, we are back. I know it's been a little bit, but we had some personal stuff going on, but we're right back in time for the Super Bowl, Pro Bowl, and the NBA season getting ready to have their All-Star game. But today, on this episode, we're going to be talking about the recap of the championship games, the NFC and AFC championship games, NFL award predictions, since those are going to be announced this weekend. And then we're going to touch on the Pro Bowl, since not really too much to talk about with that, but some interesting things have happened, so we'll touch on that.
For the NBA, a lot has happened since we last talked to you guys. Today we have an NBA season update. We're picking our surprise teams out of each conference, as well as 3 contenders we think can come out of each conference, as well as our all-star bench and reserve predictions.
And for our ending segment, we have this or that De'Aaron Fox edition, since he's probably going to be traded here in the next coming weeks. And of course, follow all our socials at Roll the Tape Sports. We're going to start posting there more and more in the coming weeks.
So let's get right into it and roll the tape. Episode 4 is now. Let's get right into it. NFC Championship game. I believe this was the first game of the 2 played versus the Washington Commanders taking on the Philadelphia Eagles in Philadelphia. And Washington getting to this point, I don't think any of us would have predicted just a few weeks ago, a month ago even. But shout out to them for doing that. But this game, it wasn't close. Philadelphia jumped out early. Saquon Barkley did his thing in that first quarter, had a big run. And once I saw that, I knew it was over, because once the Philadelphia offense gets running the ball how they were, there's just no stopping them. And their defense is dominant. I mean, they've been a scary, sleepy team no one's talked about all year. And that's exactly why this team's really good. And they plowed the Commanders.
Yeah, this was, I would have liked to see a little bit more out of the Commanders and Jaden Daniels in this one. They start off strong with that very long, 8-minute drive. Yes, it took them four fourth down conversions to get 3 points up on the board, but they looked consistent on offense. And then Saquon Barkley breaks that 60-yarder very first play offensively for Philadelphia. And I agree with Jacksen. Ever since that play, I could just tell this Commanders team was just too young and too weak for the physicality and the talent level of Philadelphia. This ended up being a 55-23 blowout. Now, the Commanders still put up 23 points, which isn't terrible on that Eagles defense, but to allow 55, I don't think anyone had that on their bingo card for the Commanders defense. We know it's weak. We know it's banged up, but 55 points, allowing that is no recipe for success at any point in the NFL season, especially not the NFC Championship game.
Yeah, just like Aidan said, we all knew that the Washington Commanders defense is their weak spot. But to give up 55 to any team in the NFL, it isn't going to win you games. Obviously, the Commanders offense can put up points, but I don't think they're putting up 55 on any given night against the defense of the Eagles caliber. I do want to shout out Dan Quinn, though, because at the beginning of the season, I was a Dan Quinn hater in terms of the signing. I didn't think it was going to work out, but it ended up working out for them. And obviously, he has some type of
he's got that magic. I don't know what it
is.
He
has that magic. He got the players going all season, got them to this NFC Championship game. So shout out to him. I think their future is bright. There's a lot of young pieces on that team, and obviously Jaden Daniels is only a rookie, only going to get better.
Oh, I mean, the sky's the limit for Washington. Going to the NFC Championship game and your quarterback's rookie season is just insane. They have a good running back room. They obviously have Jaden Daniels. They have good receivers. That offensive line's getting better, and their defense can only go up. I mean, Washington's going to be a threat now, probably for years to come. So watch out for the Commanders. But moving along now to the AFC, and one of the best playoff games we've seen. And these two teams have had a lot of history and a lot of close games in the playoffs. And it always has to seem to have the same ending. As the Chiefs took on the Buffalo Bills in Kansas City. This was the primetime game, and Kansas City took away the victory 32-29. And, well, it just kind of happened as they always do, as these two teams face each other. I don't really know how to really explain it. It was back and forth. The Chiefs would go down and score, and then Buffalo would come down and score. It was back and forth. The Buffalo Bills would take a lead, then the Chiefs would come down and take a lead. And it turned out just to be a 3-point game. Buffalo had a chance to go down the last drive and score and either have a field goal and tie it or a touchdown to win. And they just couldn't complete on a fourth down. And that was it. Kind of repeated history. And once again, Josh Allen falls to Patrick Mahomes in the playoffs, and the Chiefs look for the three-peat.
Yeah,
oh no, go ahead, Aidan.
All right. I just want to say the Chiefs deserved this win. To anyone who thinks this was rigged or scripted, yes, I know that fourth and one sneak was very suspicious. I do believe that was a first down, but the Bills had their chance to go out and win this as well. There were 3 plays that they could have made that would have essentially won them this game. What Bills fans and what most NFL fans that are looking at this as a rigged game won't see is this Bills defense was awful, especially down the stretch when you needed to stop. Patrick Mahomes was, I think, 80% completed 80 or 90% of his passes with a clean pocket in this one. I mean, Patrick Mahomes shredded up your defense, and there's really no excuse for that. I know it seems a little fishy. I know that, we're tired of seeing the Chiefs in the Super Bowl, but I mean, it's just dominance. It's what it is. This is a dynasty, a proven dynasty in Kansas City. And, the Bills had a chance to go out and win it, and they didn't. They had the lead in the fourth quarter or going into the fourth quarter, and they didn't hold on to it. So a good win for the Chiefs to send them to another Super Bowl. I really do like Josh Allen and the Bills this season, but it just wasn't enough for them down the stretch.
Yeah, I completely agree with Aidan in the fact that people say that it's rigged. Obviously, some calls go in favor of both teams. I mean, the Bills got a couple calls this game. The Chiefs got a couple calls this game. But obviously, when the Chiefs get calls, it's going to be more magnified because people already say that they get calls their way anyway.
I mean, it was just the same exact way back in the day when New England was whipping up on everyone.
I guess it's the same exact way. It's just how it goes sometimes. But the Bills had opportunities to put this game away. Like Aidan said, they came into the fourth quarter with the lead. If your defense steps up, I don't even know if Patrick Mahomes really even pressured that much this game. I don't know if he had more than 5 pressures this entire game. The D-line wasn't getting there. Your corners were playing 10 yards back off the wide receivers. It was mostly just easy pitching catches all game. Like Aidan said, almost 80 to 90% completion percentage for Patrick Mahomes. It just wasn't a good defensive game for the Bills. And then on the other side, Spags is one of the best defensive coordinators in the league. That blitz on, what was it, 4th and 5?
Yeah, but he didn't blitz all game, by the way. He was setting them up for that exact moment.
He up the perfect blitz against the Bills to throw Josh Allen off of his mark. Honestly, Dalton Kincaid could have caught that ball. Let's just be honest here. He could have caught the ball. It wasn't his hands, but it's still a hard throw, hard catch. But that blitz at the end of the game sealed the win. Shout out to the Chiefs. I'm not rooting for you, but I do respect you getting there.
I mean, it's just hard because like 2 teams you don't really want to root for are the teams in the Super Bowl. Like I could really get behind like the Commanders or the Bills. They haven't won nothing, but these are 2 teams that we're sick of seeing winning, and they're battling out again. But
me personally, I like Jalen Hurts out of college, so that's the only reason I'm the Eagles right now.
I mean, Jalen Hurts hasn't won a ring himself. It's not like he won. It was
it's not like he has a dynasty
on their team. Yes, the Eagles do. But not the whole team. Plus,
Gardner Johnson, he's a fella.
The other thing I do want to add too. All right. The other thing I do want to add is if Dalton Kincaid did make that catch, there's no telling if the Bills would have ended up scoring on that drive.
Yeah, we don't know.
There's no guarantee.
I mean, I think he would have caught it like around the 50. All they would have had to do was just get about 10 more yards, and
it would have been on like plus side territory. It still would have been a tough field goal. There's no telling that Buffalo ties it up with a field goal, but I don't know. Yeah. There's people talk like, oh, if Dalton Kincaid catches that's 6 points on that catch. No, you still have 40 more yards to go. Yeah.
I mean, you could definitely change it and say the other tight end the week before, if he caught it, would
that
change the game. That was just
that was
Mark Andrews, but but moving along now to And of course, before I'll just touch on this real quick, we will be talking about the Super Bowl and everything that goes along with it in next week's episode. So look out for that next Thursday. But we're going to be talking about award predictions since I do believe they announced them. Is it this weekend, right? Or is it
Yeah,
next weekend?
I
I
think
think
it's
this is
before the Super Bowl. Yeah.
yeah. So
So
next week
it is next weekend. So should we wait and for next weekend or should we do it now? We
we might
could
as well do it now.
wait.
The odds aren't going to change.
Okay, we'll
Yeah.
do it now. So, all right, so we're gonna say a few names. We're gonna skip
Bonus
over a few
content.
of a bonus content, share whatever you want to call it. Roll the tape bonus content, apply to our Patreon, and
Patreon.
get that going. We're joking for now. But offensive rookie of the year, we're gonna pick one for each conference. I think that's what we're doing. So we'll have a defensive rookie of the year for each conference too.
Yeah.
I assume. So offensive rookie of the year for the AFC. I'll let you guys go ahead for that.
Okay, I'll go ahead and go first. AFC Rookie of the Year. I think it's only one real. It's really two, but for me, it's got to be Brock Bowers. I think Brock Bowers had one of the greatest rookie tight ends, if not the greatest rookie tight end season of all time. He's going to be very dangerous on the Raiders for years to come, no matter what his quarterback was. I mean, you saw what he was putting up with Aidan O'Connell and Gardner Minshew as his quarterback. He's a safety blanket, and that's one of their foundational pieces moving forward with their new regime with Pete Carroll.
I mean, he was
Yeah,
up there with like,
that's a great pick.
I mean, he was up there with like the tops. I mean, he was eighth in the league in receiving.
Yeah,
Yeah,
as a
as
tight
a
end rookie.
rookie tight end when he's
Um,
blocking, like
Aidan,
30% of the time.
you can go ahead and pick yours.
Yeah, my offensive rookie of the year, like Jalen said, it's between two. For me, it's between Brock Bowers and Brian Thomas Jr. I believe I will probably go with Brian Thomas Jr. just because he had more yards, more touchdowns, but the fact that Brock Bowers was drafted as the best tight end in this class, Brian Thomas Jr. was the fourth or fifth wide receiver to come off the board in the 2024 NFL draft. So he turned a lot of heads. I really only think that's the only way you can look at it for Brian Thomas Jr. to win this award, but don't be surprised. Don't be surprised if Brock Bowers takes as well. It's really neck and neck between those two.
Yeah, I mean, hey, a name that no one's tossed out there. I just want to give a quick shout out. Shout out to Lad McClonkley for the
Oh
Chargers.
yeah,
Had
Lad had a really good year.
had 1,100 yards, 7 touchdowns. A name that no one's talking about, but
yeah,
hey, that's a really good rookie year. Obviously, I'm going to agree with you guys. I think it's going to be between Brian Thomas and Brock Bowers. I would give the nod to Brock Bowers because the Raiders team is just so bad. But the Jags are pretty bad too this year. So,
Yeah,
yeah,
but for NFC Rookie of the Year on offense, I think it's all one name. So we
yeah,
can
it's
just
all
say it real quick.
unanimous.
Jaden Daniels.
Jaden Daniels.
Um,
Yeah,
he's that fella. He's that guy. So we'll move along. NFC Rookie of the Year. Who do you guys got?
Defensive Rookie of the Year.
Yeah, for NFC.
Um, Once again, it's between two guys. It's between Jared Verse and Quinyon Mitchell. They both had great. Cooper DeJean could be in there as well, but I'm going to give it to Jared Verse. I mean, I can't think of his sack numbers off the top of my head, but I know he had a whole bunch of pressures. Every game that you watch the Rams, you see he's making an impact as a rookie on that defensive
He
line. A
looked
very
like a
young,
superstar, especially right in the playoffs. I mean,
yeah, especially behind
he
the
was
playoffs.
weird
He
coming off
was
the
in
edge.
there almost every time against that good Eagles O line. He's going to be a star for years to come, and I think he takes this one.
Yeah,
yeah.
I'm gonna have to agree.
Yeah, for my defensive rookie of the year, I think it's between uh I'll say it's between three for me. I think Jared Verse is in there. I think Leatu Latu should also or deserve some respect. But my winner out of this group will probably be Dallas Turner. I think what he was doing on this Minnesota Vikings defense was amazing as a rookie. He's one of the main reasons why they were the best blitzing defense in the league this year. Had some strips. I think he had a strip sack or two. Totaled a decent amount of sacks on it as a rookie, and you know a pretty decent role player as to why that Vikings team was so surprisingly good this year. So I think if we're talking about impact on winning, I think Dallas Turner is probably at the top of that list for me. So he's going to be my pick.
Yeah, and I would have to agree with Jalen on his pick. But moving along now to the AFC, and here's our defensive rookie of the year for the AFC. I'm going to go with Chop Robinson from Miami. He was really good for them. I believe he had, I'm trying to look at the stats, but it's not telling me. It's not loading. But he had 171 pass rush snaps, and he had an 18% pass rush rate, which is pretty good for someone who didn't play all the snaps. So the AFC was kind of weak when it comes to
AFC
defensive
was a little weak.
rookies. Like you said, Latu, another name that could get some look for that, but he didn't really play anything out of worldly for the Colts. So the AFC is definitely weak when it comes to defensive rookie of the year of candidates, to say the least.
It is.
Yeah,
It definitely is.
I'm gonna go with I do like Latu. I forgot that I said mentioned him in the NFC, but I forgot he's in the AFC. But Latu is definitely in that conversation. But I'm gonna go with the surprising pick here out of the AFC. I really like Nate Wiggins out of Clemson here as a rookie. He did a lot for that defense
Corner.
up in Baltimore, the cornerback. He really fulfilled that elite defense ever since um, it was just Marlon Humphrey there in that secondary for Baltimore. They've needed that corner too, and the Ravens found him perfectly. And now they have an elite player at every level: D line, linebacker, secondary, and including the safeties as well, and Kyle Hamilton. So I think he rounded out that defense really well for Baltimore.
I think so too. If I had to pick one, like you said, it's very weak in the AFC. I like Latu a lot, but I don't think he's gonna get the nod. I like Jackson's pick. I'm probably gonna go with Chop Robinson as well. He was another one of those guys that whenever he's on the floor, not the floor, whenever he's on the field, you notice it. He's out there making plays, out there making impacts. I think he's gonna win this one.
Yeah, I would have to agree. Moving along now to offensive player of the year. And I think there's only two names that could even be tossed out there, maybe three, maybe four, if you want to get real technical. But I'm going to go ahead and start. I think my offensive player of the year in the NFL is one guy and one guy only, and he's in the Super Bowl for the first time in his career from Philadelphia. Saquon Barkley would be my offensive player of the
Good
year.
pick.
2,000 rushing yards, 13 rushing touchdowns. Um, Averaged 125 yards a game, was absolutely
Jeez.
dominant, 5.8 yards a carry. Just, I mean, he was just so dominant. And Derrick Henry, give him some credit. He had 1,900 yards, 16 touchdowns as well. But Saquon Barkley, especially towards the end of the year, was just dominant, out of the world. He's been doing the same thing in the playoffs. So I'm going to say Saquon Barkley because he's taken an elite Philadelphia offense to be probably up there, top three offense in the league. So Saquon Barkley's the offense player of the year.
For my offensive player of the year, I never thought I would see a world where someone gets a triple crown and comes second, but I think it's going to be this year. I do believe Saquon Barkley will win Offensive Player of the Year, 2,000 yards. That hasn't been done since Derrick Henry back when he was with the Titans. And, as good as Jamar Chase was this season, triple crown leader, Cooper Kupp did that back in 21 and he won Offensive Player of the Year, but Saquon's just been on that like a whole another level from anyone else. So as much as I'd like to see Jamar Chase win it, and as impressive as of a season he had this year, I think it has to go to Saquon.
Yeah, I'm going to agree with the two of you. It's obviously a clean sweep. I do wish Jamar Chase could win it. Triple Crown is one of the hardest things to ever do. But what
Yeah.
Saquon did this season as well is one of the hardest things to do. And he's basically their number one option on offense. I mean, it's either him in the pass or him in the run, or they're passing off of fakes to his run. It's basically that all season. If they're going to win the Super Bowl, he will be the main cause of them winning the Super Bowl. I'm going to go with him for Offensive Player of the Year.
Yeah, I mean, that's kind of just the clear cut favorite. I mean, he's just had a dominant year. No one really expected that because, like, I remember just a year ago, everyone was like, don't pay running backs.
Yeah.
The two free agents, look at them, leading the
Yeah,
league
for
in
real.
rushing, both of them. So now defensive player of the year. I'm going to make it short and sweet. I think it's as simple as this. There's one cornerback who is better than everyone else. Kind of had his own island this year. Give me Pat Surtain to be my defensive player of the year.
Yeah, I'm gonna go with Pat Surtain as well, just keeping it short and sweet.
Yeah, best corner in the league by far. No one threw to him all year for a reason. It's Pat Surtain.
Yeah. Shout out Pat Surtain and the Broncos making the playoffs for the first time since Peyton Manning.
Yep.
Long time. Shout out the Broncos. And finally, our last NFL topic of the day, we're going to be touching on the Pro Bowl. So the NFL Pro Bowl is a once place that was looked at as one of the most like a I don't know how to word it. It was up there with like the top awards a player could receive. Every
Yeah.
season, you make a Pro Bowl, that means you are one of the best players at your position, usually top three. So let me just take you through the quarterbacks in the AFC. And let me ask you, are they top three in the conference? First, Joe Burrow, definitely top three. Okay.
Okay.
Russell Wilson,
Mm,
36-year-old Russell Wilson.
No,
no,
And then Drake May.
not even
No,
close.
not even
there's
close.
zero chance. I mean, you could make an argument that Gardner Minshew deserves it over Drake May. And
I don't think
Gardner
it's
Minshew
arguable.
sucks. So
That's not ridiculous. That's not ridiculous to say that.
This is that.
I
Yeah,
just
there's a
Drake
serious
May
issue
making
with
a
the
Pro
Pro
Bowl in
Bowl.
2025?
Yeah, there's a serious issue with the Pro Bowl. Like back when we were kids, it was actually a like prestigious award, or I guess it's not an award, but a selection that you
Mm,
get. But now it's just like with all these players opting out. Like I understand if like Mahomes and Jalen Hurts opt out because they got a Super Bowl to prepare for. But I mean Josh Allen, I mean, what else are you gonna do? You just got eliminated. I think you participate in it. It's something that the fans want to see. Nobody wants to see rookie Drake May in there besides Patriots fans, especially when the whole NFL community
I
can
mean, I
agree
could
he
I
probably
could I
doesn't
could
deserve that spot.
completely understand if Drake May balled out this year, was a starter, New England was a
Yeah,
playoff team. But no, New England won like two games. Drake May didn't even play all the games. And when he
no.
did play, he looked good at times. I think they got their guy, definitely a franchise quarterback. But he did not look like a Pro Bowl caliber quarterback by any means. He looked like a bottom 25, bottom 20 quarterback. And that's what he is. He's young rookie, but not Pro Bowl caliber. And it just to me doesn't make much sense.
Yeah, you look at his stats. I mean, he's 24th in the league in passing yards, which I will give him credit. He didn't play all the games, but then he only threw 15 touchdowns to 10 interceptions. That's not Pro Bowl worthy to me, especially when you have guys like Herbert still out there. Even the guy like uh, even Aaron Rodgers had a better season than this. Like I'm just very surprised that Drake May got that slot over some of the other guys in the NFL. I mean, the
I mean,
AFC.
you could go down the list and name all kinds of guys who deserve it. Bo Nix. I mean, he had a good year.
Yeah,
Um, even CJ Stroud had a better year than that. Tua Tagovailoa. I mean,
yeah.
and now moving along to our NBA portion of the pod, we now like to talk about, well, the NBA season update. We all have some surprise teams, and I'll let Jalen you go first. Give me a surprise team that has surprised you through January 29th when this is being recorded.
Well, I think we all know the biggest surprise so far this season. It's got to be the Houston Rockets sitting at 32 and
Yep.
14 so far into the season. I mean, I thought they might make the playoffs, but I thought it would be as a 7 through 10 seed, not as a 2 seed in the stacked Western Conference. The jump from Aubin Thompson this season has been absolutely instrumental to their success, as well as Alperon Şengün still being a dominant center. Fred VanVleet can dish and score. It's just a very well-rounded team, as well as Dylan Brooks still playing good defense. He made 9 threes the other day. Since when does Dylan Brooks make threes? I don't know when that doesn't happen
Hey,
often.
Dylan Brooks has been balling this year. I
He
don't
has
know
been
if people
balling.
realize that, but he's shooting like
yeah,
40 something percent from three. I mean, he's a player.
But shout out to Ime Udoka has that team really rolling and playing well.
Yeah, my
yeah,
my surprise team. Here, I'll go before you do, Aiden,
yeah.
because
You got
I
it. You got
have a
it.
feeling I know where you're going. I'm going to go a different route. I want to pick a team that no one's going to think I'm going to pick. I'm going to go with the LA Clippers. And
I was
I
thinking
know
about that team. I was
I know
thinking about
no
that.
one thinks about them too much, but Kawhi Leonard has only played 8 games this season. He just came back. And in those 8 games, he's only averaging 14 a game. But this Clippers team is a legitimate team in the Western Conference. They're 26 and 20. They have, I think they're one of the top five in offense. James Harden is still doing his thing. He's averaging 21 and 8, which is still high caliber minutes. But Norman Powell, probably what's the word they give him? The most improved. He went from averaging
Yeah.
13 points last year to averaging 23.9 points this season. He has been absolutely balling. Who knew that they had Paul George on their bench the whole time? Whenever Paul George is there. But definitely the Clippers, a really good team. Zubac's doing his thing as well, averaging 15 and 12. And just another team that's just down that just, I don't know. There's just something about them. I did not think they would still be able to stay afloat with Kawhi being hurt most of the season. So him coming back is just going to be another boost. And they beat up on teams too. Like I think they beat a team by like a lot recently. I'm
They
not
beat the
sure.
Nets by like 60.
Yes,
Yeah.
126 to 67 on the
Yeah,
15th of January. Like they beat them by what is that? 60, 50? I mean, that's just
yeah.
insane. Shout out Brooklyn, by the way. That team is bad.
Hey,
But that's going to
don't
be
worry,
my
Cooper Flag's on
surprising
the
team.
way.
So Jalen picked a team with a Thompson twin that has been rising a lot this season. I'm going to pick the team that the other Thompson twin is on that's also making a lot more noise this season. I'm going to go with the Detroit Pistons. They're 23 and 23, 500 halfway through the NBA season. I don't think a lot of people, expected them to be this consistent this far into the year. Last year they started 2-1 and then lost like 26 straight games. Um, technically you could say they were, 66% win percentage at one point in the season, but lost that. But they're at 500 right now, more than halfway through the season. You know, I, I don't really like those like if the playoffs started today like type of things. But if the playoffs started today, they'd be a playing team right now, and I think they'd beat up on the Bulls, the Hawks, and the Magic, three other teams that are also in the play-in tournament. So, maybe not the Magic, but Hawks and Bulls, I think I would probably have them in there. So, yeah, this Piston seems fun to watch. It does suck that Jaden Ivey got hurt, but I think he'll be back in time for the playoffs, I believe, or the play-in seed at least. But this is a young, fun team to watch, and JD Biggerstaff has this team rolling.
Yeah, I mean, they the shout out the Pistons. They've been playing
Pistons.
really good. I like the way they play. And Jaden sucks they don't have Jaden Ivey because I think he would add so much more. But
Yeah.
still, a really good team. It's funny how they think they're better than the Pacers though, because that's
No, that was
Hey,
fun.
I guess we're recording this January 29th,
Yeah, right now.
2025. They just tipped off right now, so I guess we'll see
Malice in the Palace
by
2 incoming.
tonight.
Just
Yeah.
wait. Because they are battling it out. But now we're going to move along to talk about our contenders in each conference. So I think we're going to go through, and I think there's a few teams that we're going to agree are contenders in each conference. We'll start with the Eastern Conference. I think we can all agree the Cavs are contenders out of a top
Yeah.
three. So
Yes.
all three
Yeah.
of us say the Cavs. Okay.
At the beginning it looked a little fluky, but since they've just kept it up so consistently, it's hard to rule them out.
They are 5-5 in their last 10, had a little bit of a slide.
Yeah.
But they're still 37-9, still the best team in the Eastern Conference by far, and they're still really rolling. I mean, just insane. Donovan Mitchell averaging 24, Garland averaging 22, Mobley averaging 18. I mean, absolutely loaded. I would say the second team, I think we can all agree on the Boston Celtics are a
Yeah.
contender. So I think it's going to come down to our third contender for all of us. So Jalen, I'll let you go ahead and go first.
As much as I want to, I'm not going to pick them. Who I was thinking about. It's the New York Knicks. The Knicks this season have been playing really good basketball. Cat's playing at a almost MVP like level. We haven't seen Cat play like this in a minute. Brunson's still putting up like his 26 and 6 or 7. Josh Hart's still one of the best rebounders in the wing position. I mean, the team is still good. I don't know if they're better than the Celtics or the Cavs. I don't think that they'll beat them in a 7-game series. But I do think that they'll be one of those teams that when it comes down to the second round, maybe even the conference finals, they're going to be in that conversation, trying to get to the NBA finals.
Yeah, I'm gonna agree with Jalen here. I think it's the Cavs, the Celtics, the Knicks, and then after that, it's just a fall off. And I see Jackson smiling. I know who he's gonna pick, but uh, yeah, like Jalen said, Cat is playing at an MVP. He's on the MVP ladder right now. He's averaging, 25 and like 13, which is unreal for Cat. At the beginning of this season, it looked a little shaky with this Knicks team. They were started the first 10 games, bottom half of the Eastern Conference, but once they got that chemistry going and Tibbs, got a consistent know what lineups work, even though they're all the same. Did you guys see that the top seven most played trios in the NBA that play the most minutes with each other are all Knicks players?
That's
because they
insane.
it's because there's six guys that all play.
So yeah, like if you rank trios that have played the most minutes with each other, it's just a different combination of Knicks players. So, they're just gaining that chemistry game in and game out. By playoff time, they're going to be. I would not want to go to Madison Square Garden if I'm any team in the playoffs this year.
Well, there's a team last year that went to Madison Square Garden in the playoffs and beat the Knicks.
I knew
And
it
you
was
want to
coming.
know one thing that happens when you play all your starters 45 minutes a game, every single game in the regular season? They get hurt, just like they got hurt last year when the Knicks made the
Fair
playoffs.
enough.
My third contender in the Eastern Conference is the best team that's been the best team in 2025 in the Eastern Conference, and that's going to be a team out of Indiana. Give me the Indiana Pacers as my third contender, better than the New York Knicks, better than the Bucks. They'd beat up on them too.
It's not crazy. It's not
I
crazy
know
to
I
say.
know you're wiping your eyes right now, but hey, they off a loss are
I
dangerous.
know I
The
know we get
Pacers
up
off
in
a loss
here.
are extremely dangerous,
I know we get up in here and
especially
talk
lately.
basketball. I know we get up here and like to talk basketball, but you got to understand we're trying to get people to take us serious.
Just wait. Just wait. Like I said last year, I'm saying the same thing again. Just wait. Whenever they're in the Eastern Conference Finals again, I will be sitting here
I
smiling. Will
will
they win?
say
Probably
since
not.
2025 since the beginning of 2025 they have been the best team record-wise in the Eastern Conference, and they have a top 10 offense and defense. And defense is what they were lacking, all earlier in the year and all last year. So if they can keep that up, I mean, I see another ECF run in the books for Indiana.
I mean, hey, they're dangerous. They finally figured it out on defense. Tyrese Halliburton's extremely inconsistent, but Andrew Nimhard, the arrival of Andrew Nimhard, needs to be studied. He's an all-pro league defender. People might laugh at me, think I'm funny now, but just look at me in a few months, and we'll see how things
Yeah.
are. I'll leave it at that. But moving
All
along now
right.
to the Western Conference, and this can go anywhere. I think this can
Yeah.
go anywhere.
It
I think
can.
we can all say that the Thunder are going to be a contender, so we can hash them on. But like after that, I mean, you can go a lot. I think the Rockets are a contender. I do
Okay.
personally. I don't know what you guys feel about that, but I really like the Rockets of late. They've been playing really good. They're 8-2 in their last 10. They're really good on the road. And I think, I don't know, just that Thompson brother, he is just insanely good on defense. And those type of defenders in the playoffs are dominant. I think he's going
Yeah.
to be really dominant for them. And they have guys like Jalen Green who can go score at any time. I really like them. They have a good vet presence while also having a lot of young guys. The Rockets are definitely a contender for me.
In the playoffs, it a lot of it relies on, do you have the best player on the court in the series? And the Rockets to me don't have that bona fide star that I can say, okay, yeah, he's the best player on the basketball court. I think if they match up against the Clippers, I would say Kawhi would still probably be the best player in that series. I would say Ant would probably still be the best player in the series if they ran against the Timberwolves. And KD if they ran against the Suns. I think, those are guys that would all be better than any player the Rockets could put on the court. But what's so interesting about this Rockets team is their depth and their defensive versatility. Ime Udoka has eight, like seven elite defenders on that roster. And
They have almost eight guys averaging 10 points, by the way.
oh yeah, it's absolutely ridiculous. And the consistency that they have on both floors is crazy. Depth is also very important in the playoffs. So I would say the Rockets, they could be contender I just don't know if I see it yet. I think my other two contenders are going to be the Nuggets because I think
Yeah.
Jokic brings a lot to the table in the playoffs. And then I know they're the 9 seed right now, but give me the Mavericks because I think healthy Luca
Luca's not been
and
there.
yeah, bring healthy Luca back. Or Kyrie has been balling out ever since he got back from injury. He's trying to carry all the weight. Um, Derek Lively's been out. I feel like this was a 3 seed before they got all hurt, and so I think if you get if you get everyone back healthy in time for the playoffs, I think that's a final contender right there.
Yeah, for me, I think like Aiden said, it's got to be the Nuggets. Obviously the playoff experience. Jokic is playing at an MVP level again. One of the best center seasons of all time. But for my third contender, you know
So
what?
you're
I'm
going
going
Nuggets as your two, right?
Nuggets in my two. OKC one,
Okay.
Nuggets two. My third contender, I'm going with the Grizzlies. The Grizzlies have been playing great basketball all year. Ja Morant is still that guy. They have good defensive players all around, good shooters all around. Zach Edey came into the league and played well when people didn't think that he would play well because of they said his game wouldn't translate, but it has translated so far. I just think that this team, if when playing well, is one of the best teams in the West. So give me them as my third contender.
Yeah,
Yeah, my final contender. Obviously, I said the Rockets, and the Thunder. I'm gonna have to go the Nuggets and kind of tally off what Aiden said. Just they've been there and done that, and Jokic is the best player in the court at every imaginable. I would say he's the best player in the league. The arrival of Russell Westbrook to the starting lineup for the Rockets, not the Rockets, the Nuggets has been quite surprising to see how he's played. He's averaging 13 on the year, 13, 5, and 6. But as a starter, I think he's averaging like 17, 6, and 7, something like that. So
wow.
he's definitely been pretty good as a starter for them. He started 25 games next to Jamal Murray. So definitely, I mean, they're definitely one of the teams to beat. I know they've kind of had some struggles and moments, but I also kind of fear like the Nuggets kind of take the regular season as the Chiefs do in kind of a way. They don't constantly put their foot on the gas, you could say, because this team, I don't see this team really being a 28-20 team. I think they're better than having 20 losses already at this point of the season. So I would
Yeah.
definitely say they're up there um to be my contenders in each conference. But moving along now to our final NBA topic, and then we'll play our game at the end of the episode. All-star bench predictions, because the all-star bench I do believe is being announced on the 30th, um, Thursday, which will be tomorrow, the day this is posted. So today, if you're watching this, all-star bench predictions. So I think we're going to go through and give our bench predictions. So I have to pull
You
that
want to do
up.
conference by conference?
Yeah, I think we should do that.
Okay. I'll go ahead and go first. So my reserves are gonna be Trae Young, absolutely great season. I think he deserves it. And the Hawks have also been playing good all year. I'm gonna go with Dame, even though Dame isn't having, the craziest Dame season. The Bucks are still the fourth seed. They're gonna get two All-Stars. Jalen Brown, obviously, we all know what Jalen Brown does on the court. Evan Mobley, the Cavs deserve two All-Stars this year, if maybe not three, which I'll get to in a second. My next one will be Pascal Siakam. The Pacers deserve an All-Star this year. I don't think it will be Tyrese because of how slow Tyrese started off the year. So I think they'll give it to Pascal, who's averaging 21 or 22 and 8. Great season. My next one, Cade Cunningham. Cade has been playing great all year. Like Aidan said, the Pistons are 500 right now. They're in line to make the playoffs, and he's averaging crazy numbers at his position. And lastly, Darius Garland. The Cavs deserve three All Stars, and I think they'll get it. I think Darius Garland's going to get in there.
I would have to completely agree with every name you named. I don't think there's any really difference. Obviously, like you said, Siakam making it over Halliburton is kind of something that's questionable. But I would
Yeah,
say Siakam has been more consistent for Indiana this year. So I would say Siakam over Halliburton. And I like the Cavs having three. Usually the best team in the East or in each conference has three if they have three all-star caliber. And the Cavs definitely have three guys. So I would agree.
Um, for my Eastern Conference reserves, I'm gonna go with so for guards, I'll go with just because of how many votes he got, I'm gonna go with LaMelo Ball. I think LaMelo Ball will get in there. I
I can
think
see Lamelo getting there.
I think Trey Young will probably get a bid. I think Tyrese Maxey will get a bid, and then I got Darius Garland. Those are my four guards. My three front court players. I don't know if since he was hurt for so long, I don't know if he can play in it. But Paulo, I think Paulo, if he was healthy,
I would honestly
I think
say, what's his name would get the bid over Paolo since the Kings
Franz.
played. Yeah, Franz.
I can see Franz getting
Franz,
in there.
yeah,
I don't think he
um,
will because he got hurt for that extended period of time.
yeah.
But if he was healthy, I definitely say for sure.
I would say Paulo, Mobley, and then I think I'm going to go Paulo, Mobley, and Jalen Brown are probably going to be the
Okay, I
three
like
front
that. I
court.
like that.
All right. I'll go ahead and start with the Western Conference. I'm going to start with a name that not too many people probably have on their list. I'm going to say Norman Powell deserves an all-star bid, averaging
Okay,
about 24 a game. They're top six seed in the West. Give me Norman Powell in the all-star game. I bet no one expected that. Other names,
no,
Anthony Edwards, obviously. Victor Wembanyama probably should have been a starter. Anthony Davis. I'll take Sangoon as the all-star for the Rockets. Um, and then give me Sabonis and Jalen Williams for the Thunder, giving them another
I like the
all-star.
J Dub pick. I like the J Dub
Mhm.
pick. For me, obviously, like you said, Wimby's gonna make it in there. I think AD makes it in there as well. I'm gonna go ahead and go on the limb here. I do think that Sabonis makes it.
Yep.
He has been playing good all year, and the Kings are on the up. I think that he could be taken out just because the Kings aren't the greatest team in the West, but they're not bad either. I like
They've
the
been hot
Jada
of
pick.
late.
I think as yeah, not of late. I like the Jada pick. Um, well, I mean, Kyrie Irving. There we go. I was thinking I had to think of who was on the Mavericks. Kyrie Irving's going to get in there. And lastly, I'm going with Norman Powell. I think Norman Powell's going to get in there. Averaging, what'd you say he was averaging like 23? That's
23.9, like damn near
like
24.
he is
yeah,
the leading scorer for that Clippers team. That's the sixth seed right now. I think he's going to sneak in there.
yeah. For mine, for my Western Conference, I think it's undoubtedly Wembanyama. I think he'll definitely get a spot, as well as AD, pending his injury. I don't know if that's going to take him out or not because he did suffer those abdominal bruises against the Sixers. Um, and then I like J Dub. I like J Dub in there. If Anthony Davis uh, doesn't play in it or can't participate, which I can see happening, I think Shengun will get in there
Yeah,
for him.
he was my
Um,
last one out.
yeah, for
I went ahead
for
and gave it to him.
guards, for guards, I would say Luca, but again, I just think he'll get reserved. I don't know how healthy he'll be by that point, so I don't think he'll participate. So for that reason, I think Kyrie, his teammate, will take his spot there. I think Ant, Jaw, and James
Ja, I
Harden get
forgot
in.
about Ja.
Yeah.
I did forget about Ja.
Oh
Hold on.
shit.
I don't have to rethink I don't have to rethink what I said. I'm gonna have to
No
rethink
going
what
back. Ja,
yeah,
no
there's
all
no going
star.
back. Yeah, you're right. Ja, you deserve to be in there.
So
You
yeah,
should be
so
somewhere.
Ant, Kyrie, Ja, Harden are my four Western Conference guard bench players.
Damn, I went big. I
Yeah.
went Sabonis, Sengun, Davis, and Victor. I'm the three guards off the
Yeah.
West bench.
First team is cooked.
I'm cooked in the All Star game.
Yeah.
But now moving along now to our final um, segment of the day. It's going to be this or that over a player that's possibly going to be traded in the coming weeks. De'Aaron Fox from the Sacramento Kings. So let's just get it started here. This or that. This game works as I say the name and I say this as in De'Aaron Fox and that as in the player I'm going to name. Let's start it off a little controversial. De'Aaron
Ooh.
Fox or Tyrese Halliburton?
Okay. First of all, Might be a little biased right now because I'm currently watching the Pacers be up 21-6 on the Detroit Pistons, and Tyrese
Oh yeah,
Halliburton's frying.
tell them how you feel, Tyrese.
Tyrese Halliburton's frying right now. So for that reason, I'm taking Tyrese. I'm taking him anyway, but that's one of the main reasons because I'm watching him cook right now. Tyrese Halliburton, I think he's not good of a scorer as De'Aaron, but he can also score on De'Aaron's level. Plus, his playmaking just puts him on a whole nother level. They're both not the greatest defenders, so just I'm going to take the scoring plus the playmaking, and that's why I think he's better.
Yeah,
I'm
for
gonna
me, I'm gonna.
go. You got it. You got it.
You
You
got
got
it
it.
first. You got it.
All
I'll hold
right.
it back.
It's very close, but for me, I probably will take Fox as of right now, just because of this slow start. Halliburton got off to this year. I mean, you look at the stats. I mean, he's averaging 25 and 7. So I don't think he's too far behind Halliburton in playmaking. I think he is more of a weapon on offense. Although as close as that is, I would rather take De'Aaron Fox on offense to like be my point guard than Tyrese Halliburton for scoring at least. If you want a true point guard, obviously take Tyrese. But I think I
Yeah,
think I think Fox is a little bit more versatile, and I just think he's a little bit better of a defender. So I'm going to take Fox, although that's really close.
it's close.
Yeah, I'm gonna take Halliburton over Fox because when you want a point guard, you want to pass first point guard. You don't want your point guard to be your primary offensive scorer in most situations. Obviously, there's unicorns in that situation, but usually want your point
Yeah.
guard to be a pass first guy. And well, there's no real better pass first guy in the league right now than Tyrese Halliburton. Maybe Trey Young, but Tyrese Halliburton is up there with the best when it comes to passing. And for that sole reason, and he still gives you about 20 a night, little inconsistent, but he'll improve on it. I'll take Halliburton over De'Aaron Fox. Moving along now, De'Aaron Fox or DeJounte Murray?
I'm taking
De'Aaron.
Fox.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah,
I'm taking Fox.
I will also agree. I'll take De'Aaron Fox. De'Aaron Fox or Drew Holiday?
Right now, I'm
Ooh.
taking Fox. Right now, I'm taking Fox. Now,
Yeah,
obviously,
Drew hasn't been that
Fox won't
good
give
this
you the
year, honestly.
defensive numbers, but Fox won't give you the defensive numbers. But that offense is just it speaks for itself.
Oh yeah, for sure. I'm probably gonna have to take De'Aaron Fox. Moving along now, De'Aaron Fox or Darius Garland?
Darius. I'm taking Darius Garland this year.
I might,
It's
yeah, right. This year, if we're talking about this year, I'm taking Garland.
yeah.
Garland's been cooking all year, just like the entire Cavs
Yeah.
team.
Garland's 6'1", though. Fox is 6'5".
And Garland still fries at 6'1". Like it's just how it is.
Yeah, I think
Yeah,
he's also.
that's
I think
true.
Garland's been the main thing with Garland his whole career is inconsistency, and this year he's shaped that up. He's obviously not the most consistent player in the world, but you know he's getting more consistent as the season goes through, and I think that's a big strength for him right now is consistency. I think he's a lot more consistent than De'Aaron Fox is right now.
Yeah,
Yeah.
and I mean he's leading the best offense in the league, one of them up
Yeah,
there. De'Aaron Fox or Derek White?
Oh, De'Aaron Fox.
I'll still take De'Aaron Fox as good of a defender as Derek White is. I think De'Aaron Fox can do more with the basketball offensively. Derek White can't really get his own bucket as well as De'Aaron Fox can, but Derek White obviously clears De'Aaron Fox on defense. I'll still probably take Fox though.
Yeah.
Oh, I mean, I would say Derek White is a really good role player, but I don't think he's a star. And De'Aaron
No.
Yeah,
Fox is a star. De'Aaron Fox or James Harden? Right now.
Right now,
Give me Fox. Let's just be honest. I like
I
James
think I'm
Harden,
yeah,
but
I think
James
I'm still
Harden's
taking Fox because
36.
Harden's
I'm still taking
offensive
Fox.
scoring has dropped off a little bit.
He still averages like 21 this year, which is five
Yeah.
up from last year. But
Yeah,
I
James
still
has
I'm
been
still
balling
taking
this
Fox
year,
right now.
but yeah,
30-year-old James Harden, I think we know who we're going there.
Yeah.
Uh,
yeah.
all right, De'Aaron Fox or LaMelo Ball?
Oh, that's close.
Give me
I'm taking
LaMelo.
Lamelo.
If
Yeah,
we're
I'm
I
talking
think
about
taking
this
he's
Melo.
year,
he's he's he's
yeah.
bigger. He's better passer, I'd say. I would say
Better
Fox is better
defender, better
defender, but
rebounder.
definitely a better rebounder.
Yeah,
So who
Averages
do you think is
about
better
two
at scoring?
steals. I mean,
Like,
a better
yeah, because De'Aaron can't
scorer
really
is
shoot the three.
Lamelo.
Yeah, because De'Aaron can't really shoot the three like that. Not on Lamelo's level, at least.
Yeah, he can shoot
Uh,
it, but definitely not on a level as LaMelo. I would definitely say LaMelo.
Yeah.
Okay. De'Aaron Fox or Cade Cunningham.
De'Aaron Fox.
Give me
De'Aaron
Cade.
Fox.
Give me
Actually, no,
Cade.
no, no. I'm
I
taking Cade. I'm
like
taking Cade. Yeah, yeah.
you
I'm
take me
taking
Cade
Cade.
Cunningham. I don't know. I think Cade Cunningham's
I
ability,
really
his
like
passing
Cade,
ability is
but
better, his rebounding's better.
yeah, I
This
just
year he's
think
taken a
De'Aaron
big jump.
Fox is. I just think De'Aaron Fox is way more efficient than Cade. Like Cade's only shooting like 41% from the field this year, and like 30% from three. But
What's he
I don't
averaging?
know
Like
though.
25, 26?
Well, 25 on like 20 shots a game.
Hey, you were just hyping up the Pistons. Don't go back on
No,
them
I
now.
know, no, I know, but it's not just Cade though.
Yeah, that's
Asar's
true.
playing well. Duran's playing
That's
well.
true.
Bro, Tim Hardaway's been frying this year. I'm not even gonna lie. Tim
Yeah, he
Hardaway's
has.
been cooking this year, but
Yeah,
it's
he
really
always
close. As of right
cooks.
now, I'll probably take De'Aaron Fox, but it's very close.
All right, here's another one. Uh, should have been Finals MVP, maybe. De'Aaron Fox or Jamal Murray.
Oh, De'Aaron Fox. Jamal Murray's
I'm still
dip.
taking De'Aaron Fox.
For
Now,
me, Jamal
playoff
Murray's
Murray,
taken such a dip like this year. But playoff Murray, I'm taking Jamal Murray in a playoff series
Playoff
for
Murray
sure though.
versus the Lakers is like him. I don't know how to
It's
explain
like
it.
their
Just
kryptonite, yeah.
bro was just doing anything and everything to beat the Lakers back then. Man.
yeah,
It's
he
just
was.
crazy. All right,
Crazy.
here's another good one. De'Aaron Fox or Kyrie Irving.
Right now, Kyrie.
Kyrie, I'm taking
Give me
Kyrie.
I'm
Kyrie.
taking
I
Kyrie.
don't think there's anything that De'Aaron necessarily does better but speed than Kyrie.
Yeah.
So give me Kyrie Irving. Here's a good one. De'Aaron Fox or Trey Young. Give me
Trey.
Trey Young.
This season, it's Trey.
Even just all time. Give me Trey Young. Only thing De'Aaron has on Trey Young is defense. Trey Young doesn't
I'll
do that.
take Trey. I'll take Trey, but
Trey Young's been to what Eastern Conference Finals. I mean,
yeah, yeah,
he's a
okay. I'll
proven
take Trey.
guy who's at least won.
This season though, Trey had a very good start to the season. Like he was shooting like 40% from three, averaging like 12 assists. But ever since then, like he's averaging like five turnovers this year, only shooting like 43% from the field, like 35% from three. Like he's leveled out, but I still think like him leveling out is still like better than De'Aaron Fox this year. So I'm still taking Trey.
Jalen has no comment.
Oh well, I thought I already said Trey in the beginning.
Oh, okay. I was just waiting. And I'm like,
Oh my bad.
okay. Here's the last few. Obviously, it's probably going to go the opposite way. But De'Aaron Fox or Damian Lillard.
Yeah,
I'll
I'll
take
take
I'm
Lillard.
Dame.
taking Dame still. I'm still taking Dame.
Yeah,
And
I'll
then
take
De'Aaron Fox, John Morant.
Ja.
Ja. Yeah, Ja's just more winning.
Ja. De'Aaron Fox, Tyrese Maxey.
I might take
See,
De'Aaron. I think
Maxi hasn't been like
I'm taking
that
Maxey. He can give you
impressive this
30.
year. Okay, De'Aaron Fox can give you 40.
Just
Hey, De'Aaron Fox.
is not his ability of not being able to shoot in the playoffs hurts me because you got to be able to shoot in the playoffs because
Yeah,
things just get
that's
tighter
true.
on defense. And those kind of guys that's why Westbrook's never really won because when it comes down
yeah.
to it, you got to be able to shoot and you can't.
You can't. Yeah.
And then these last few names on this list I'm looking at, all guys, Steph Curry, Tyrese Halliburton, we already mentioned,
Okay,
Jalen
no.
Brunson,
Steph's been
Shea.
so mid this year.
You gonna say De'Aaron's better than Steph this season? I mean, it's not crazy.
That's
Oh,
not. It's not.
it's not
Nick,
crazy, but let's just be honest. Steph Curry, did you not watch that Christmas Day game? That game alone has done anything more
okay.
than Fox has done this
Let me
season
look
for
up
the.
Steph. Let me look up Steph's numbers. Hold on, because De'Aaron's averaging 25 and 7. Curry's averaging 22 and 7.
I mean, statistically, but like Steph
Statistically, yeah.
Curry, we're talking about. I mean, if you're gonna
Yeah.
go even Steph Curry
Steph's
right
also
now, if you
the
see him
other
on the other
reason
side of
why
the
I also
court, you're
take
shivering.
well, yeah. The other reason, well, I'm not taking it just for like their ability on the court. Also, Steph's been like very injured this year,
Yeah,
so
that whole
so he
team's
hasn't
been
really
bad.
been on the court. Yeah,
But I think that's probably going to wrap it up for episode 4. It's been a minute.
yeah,
It's been a
yeah.
minute.
But weekly episodes coming out every single Thursday. I do believe Thursday or Friday is probably going to be when the new episodes drop. TikToks, hopefully every few days. Instagram Reels, I think we're going to try to do that. Instagram Reels, YouTube Reels, whatever, the Shorts, I think it's called. I'm going to try to post stuff on there.
Yeah.
We'll get all that going. But as always, it's been fun. And until next time.
Yes, sir.
See you.